Greetings and salutations, my beautiful people. I have a slight confession to make. The UK got the newest PS4 exclusive Bloodborne last Friday, and the thing is, basically I was planning on getting the game on Friday and then finishing it in that weekend, having the script written on Monday, and then having the video made, a current quickie for it, ready for this Sunday. But it's so hard, and it's a big game. I haven't even got slightly close to anywhere near beating it, and one of the main reasons for that is because I haven't touched a From Software game in quite a while now. I missed out on Dark Souls 2, personally. So I went into Bloodborne a little bit too optimistically. Say whatever you want about my gaming ability, but personally, this is one of the most difficult games I have ever touched in my life, and even though I'm loving to death everything that I'm encountering, the visual style, the lore, and everything, even though I'm loving to death all of that stuff, I'm bad at the game. And annoyingly, because I scheduled my entire time around having a Bloodborne video out for today, review anyway, I haven't had any time whatsoever to play any newer releases and then finish them and then have a script ready and have a video ready for today. So, unfortunately, I had to improvise something. So what did I improvise? Well, with this video I wanted to give back to the community a little bit and provide some sort of video that would help any struggling players out with the first few hours of starting in Central Yharnam in Bloodborne. I mean, people leave hints within the game itself, so why not do something similar to that? Also, I thought to myself that because the PS4 hasn't had that many exclusives or brand new IPs or anything like that, that there may be a few PS4 users out there that buy Bloodborne just for the sake of having another PS4 exclusive to play, looking at the reviews thinking, oh my god, this game will be amazing, and not having a clue what they're actually getting into with From Software's game history. And so, without further ado, here are tips for starting out in Bloodborne. Roll the quack. Okay, the first thing you'll want to do if you have the boxed European Standard Edition is flip the box art over. It looks cooler, and it'll make you feel stronger when you pick it up to play it. Secondly, you'll want to click play, because that's what starts the game. I said that you'll want to click play, because that is what starts the game. I said! Tip number 3 is take everything slowly. When you come to a new area, you won't know where ambushes lie ahead, what enemies will jump out, traps, or anything, so just take your time. You will start off pretty weak, and you'll need to spend a little bit of time learning enemy attack patterns and learning what's effective against what, and then coming up to your first boss battle encounter and trying to beat that on pretty low stats, so just take your time. When you start coming up against stronger enemies, I would recommend this little tactic I used called the double hit side dodge, which is basically you coming into combat with a slightly stronger enemy that you're used to, waiting for them to attack, and as they're attacking, just sidestep to the left and right, and then do 2 consecutive quick attacks, and then dodge their next attack. Don't go all out on them, just take it in little bites. Take out a little bit of their health at a time, dodge their counters, and then just keep repeating the process, and hopefully, if you're in a good enough environment, you should take out most of the higher level basic enemies no problem. The start of Bloodborne features a few parts with strong mobs of enemies. When you've just begun, I would not recommend taking on everybody at once because fuck! So instead, get yourself a few pebbles and use them accordingly. They may seem useless at first because they only take like 2 bits of damage off, but if you throw them at a desired enemy, you can attract them away from the crowd and pick each enemy off one by one. So yeah, use pebbles. Farm! Farmer's voice. Dying in this game means that you lose all of your blood echoes, this game's currency, and unless you have some bold hunter marks to transport you back to your safe haven to upgrade weapons and buy or sell items without losing all of your blood echoes, you have to beat boss battles to light extra candles to get you back with all of your blood echoes. This means that unless you know exactly where bosses will appear from and how they will attack you, and beat them in one go, you'll lose a lot of monies. Of course, you can get back to the same part you died at and try retrieving what you lost, but that's very risky, especially if you die before you get back to that part that you lost your original huge amount of monies with. So yes, farm, head back to the first candle, get stronger, repeat. In many other games, this will be considered grinding, but in Bloodborne, it really isn't. I like to consider it as learning and earning. You're learning the attack patterns of enemies, you're learning how the game works, and you're earning stuff in the progress. The more you repeat what's going on, the more that you learn what's going on, and the better that you get in the future. You learn a lot from redoing the same stuff, and it never gets boring, trust me, because even the weakest enemies can kill you very, very quickly. You're on your toes through the whole thing, even if you do the same little bit over and over again. It also helps you learn the layout of the land, because from what I've seen so far, this is a pretty open world for the kind of game that this is. So you're gonna need to learn all the shortcuts, you're gonna need to learn a lot, so don't have any shame in replaying bits. Along with the farming to upgrade your shit, save up as many Molotovs as possible. They're massively powerful against most enemies, especially if you throw oil urns at them first to add even more damage. Against bosses, they're also very useful, and more useful against beast-type enemies. And also learn the best times to actually use them in combat, because it does take them a while to like start up and... Okay, fucking throw it! Also, keep your blood vials topped up at all times. Basically, buy things. Also, while we're on the subject of health anyway, you don't need to necessarily keep buying blood vials because in Central Yharnam, the first part of the game, loads of enemies drop loads and loads of these blood vials everywhere, so you'll probably max yourself out in a few minutes if you know what you're doing. It's still very, very important to keep an eye on your health though. And also, if you do get hit by an enemy, if you're feeling a little bit braver, there's a little mechanic in this game which basically allows you to regain the health that you lose in a very short window of time by inflicting damage straight after you take damage. So you haven't got much time to get your health back, but if you're feeling a bit braver and want to go on the offensive after you're hit, that's a good way to get your health back really, really quickly, but wait until you're a bit more confident before you do that. Explore. There are tons of hidden paths in every area from the very start of this game, and they usually lead to dead bodies with very valuable items to loot. It also helps with finding and activating shortcuts so that you can skip to further parts of the area you're exploring after dying or coming back from the hunter's dream, and just carrying on, getting to the place that you were before in a much faster and much more efficient manner. So yeah, don't have to explain anymore. No shit. Give up. And then come back to it later. In this game's case, I must admit, there is no shame in looking up things online. I mean, when I started this game, when I saw Cold Blood Dew and opened it up in my inventory, it mentioned that I could get more blood echoes from it, so I assumed that meant that you should sell them. So I did. And then the next time I found some, I noticed that you can actually use them from the inventory. So I did. And then I got so many more fucking blood echoes and fucking hated myself for selling every fucking one that I had before. I can't. Don't fight Father Gascoigne. Just don't. Or at least don't fight him first anyway. He's a complete cunt. Learn Visceral Attacks. This one's very important. If you want an unbelievably powerful attack that slaughters most beginning strong enemies like brick trolls, then this is what you do. Wait for it to just start attacking you, then shoot it with your secondary gun weapon. When you see it stagger to the floor and hear this noise, you then know you can go in. You have to do this very quickly because they'll get straight back up, but all you do then is run into them, hit R1 for a quick attack, which will then trigger... Oh, yes. Learn dodging properly. The slower an enemy is with attacks, the safer it is to dodge backwards and like regain your footing a little bit. However, if they're too quick and too far reaching with their attacks, then do the counterintuitive Souls method of dodging into attacks and around the enemy, which yes, is against your common sense, and it will take you a little bit of time to kind of train your brain to dodge into attacks instead of away from them, because, you know, it doesn't really make much sense when you start, but trust me. You can also apply this for most boss battles in the game, especially including... Oh, fuck off! Learn sneak attacks. You see, I thought enemies would hear me walking around in this game, because you don't sneak, but the enemies actually don't hear you walking around, and there are some really strong enemies in this game that you can approach from behind, then charge your R2 attack, which can then take out a huge amount of health out, stagger the enemy for a visceral attack, or outright kill it in one hit. And if you're quiet behind a group of low-level enemies, you can kill a large amount in one big satisfying go. While we're talking about charging attacks, they're very useful, but also very time-consuming. This game isn't a hack and slash. This is deep and strategic stuff here, so you need to learn the quickest and easiest ways of killing each particular enemy in the game without wasting too much time and leaving yourself vulnerable, especially when managing your stamina meter and figuring out the quickest ways of dispatching enemies while having some strength left in for dodging. For example, with the saw cleaver, my weapon of choice, the dead in the sewers are best dealt with the long version of the weapon for extra distance away from them and their far-reaching attacks, and then coming at them with an R1 quick attack is very useful since it's fast and aims downwards to where they are. These dogs here, on the other hand, can be sorted out much faster with the shorter version of the weapon for much quicker swinging, and depending on your level, one R2 strong swing can kill them instantly while they're still busy barking at you before they even attack you. And then when you level up even further, even a quick attack can kill them in one hit. Experiment and see what works best for you. And by the way, this is only for Central Yharnam, because as you go on, you'll see the same dogs, but they'll get a little bit stronger, so you need to constantly adapt and work out new methods of dispatching. Use your loved one. They can give you top-ups of sugar with fizzy drinks, massage you in the more difficult parts of the game, and provide you with some much-needed encouragement.
You can do it, honey!
Have fun! I kid, this game will tear your fucking soul out. It's like a spoiled and awful nephew that you have to give a good kick because he set your kitchen on fire deliberately that one time. Play online. The community aspect in this game is just as solid as the Souls games, and I'd highly recommend playing online. You and others can leave hints and little notes for other players, and yes, sometimes people will try and trick you because they're dicks, but most of them are worth listening to. Judge them by the amount of fines that it has. And since there's no real difficulty options here, because the care and attention gone into all the enemies and bosses would kind of lose their impact if you could change how tough they were, you can always summon other players to help you out if you're seriously stuck that much. Do not worry though, there is no shame in doing that because you have extremely limited uses of this tactic. You can't spam it, and the game is still pretty tough with a helping hand anyway. I mean, I was messing around with my items one day when I was playing this and accidentally used the beckoning bell, and I ended up teaming up with someone who had armor and weapons I hadn't even unlocked yet after about 7 hours of playing. And what's funny is that he or she ended up dying before me in the beginning of the game. So yeah, play online. And if you can't get online for any reason, then talk to people. There are several NPCs in this game, but the game itself doesn't really make a song and dance about it. You don't really know until you actually experiment by knocking on your first door. Look for doors with light coming from them. If you can hear laughing, go towards those doors, and then you can talk to the residents of Yharnam on the other side of the door. They never actually come out to see you, because you'll understand why, but some of them offer side quests, some of them offer good advice, some of them can give you items, and also as well, when you're talking to people, don't just walk away when you assume the conversation is done. Wait for the X to come back up saying talk, because you might miss something quite valuably important. Accept that you will die. If you go into this game cocky or overconfident, you will get your heart ripped out of your chest. Put up your best fight and don't give up, but be prepared to die. This is a hard game. Just like making YouTube videos, you'll put a fuckload of work and loads of time and loads of care and love into a video of yours, but then you have to be prepared to not actually get anywhere with it. Unfortunately, you need that kind of tough love mentality to keep yourself sane, and because of that, when you do accomplish a goal, it'll make you want to carry on so much more. Don't give up. I already said that, didn't I? It's also worth mentioning, if you didn't realize this before, that because of the lack of a pause feature and the lack of save points, as it were, well, basically the game saves every single step that you take, which is pretty useful, so don't get stressed out about finding the next candle or playing until you get to the next Hunter's Dream location. Don't worry, just exit the game from the options menu, and when you come back, everything will be as it was. All the enemies you killed will be where they were, dead. Everything is back to the way it was, so don't stress out. This is one of the hardest games I have ever played, but it feels so rewarding to conquer your fears and explore through one of the most beautifully dark, richly engaging, and probably one of the most atmospheric game universes I have ever seen. The dynamic, grotesque, deeply gothic, and often horrifying universe of Yharnam is a real treat to explore, with all the diverse districts and foreboding outside world beyond Yharnam city centre. And honestly, I haven't been truly scared of exploring in a game quite like Bloodborne before, just because of everything that you have to lose, everything that's at stake, and of course the horrid enemies. You don't play Bloodborne, you live it. You trudge through it nervously, scared shitless about every new corner and every unknown patch of land you haven't yet explored, worried about being punished over the slightest mistake on even the easiest enemies, feeling a proper loss of progress and crippling defeat after losing everything you tried so very cautiously and gallantly to earn. And even compared to the Souls games, this game has scared me more than most survival horror games I've played. With where I am right now, I've personally put about 10 hours into the game so far, and I'm still nowhere near close to beating it, so a review, I'm not going to rush this game, I'm not going to rush the review. I will review it when I can, but don't expect it anytime soon. I'll get to it when I can, guys. But hopefully, for anyone unfamiliar with From Software games or were thinking about getting this game for their PS4 because, you know, PS4 needs more IPs and new exclusives and stuff. Yeah. I really want to share my personal experiences and all of my experiments with the first few hours of the game because there's a high learning curve and there's a lot of amazing game. It's brutal, but it's brilliant, and there's a lot of amazing parts of the game that loads of people may be completely missing out on or giving up before they get to the really, really standout amazing bits. And that would be a shame. So hopefully somebody, and well, some people can take what they can from what I've just said and apply it and maybe get a little bit further and see what the rest of Bloodborne has to offer. And please in the comments share all of your experimental gameplay tactics and strategies and all of that stuff. We need to get a community rolling, discussion and all that stuff. And until next time, if it's your birthday today or watching this video, then happy frickin' birthday to you, and please remember to stay beautiful. There's my Bloodborne poster. I love it so much, it's bottom half of the wall. Not even good enough for the song.
Subscribe.
Hello everybody, and thanks so much for watching my tips video, kind of, sort of, on Bloodborne, because I couldn't get the game beaten in time for a review. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel or liking this video, and if you want to support the show even further, then please consider going into the description, because you'll find I've partnered with a company called AppMan. And basically what you do with AppMan, you sign up and then you download free apps, try out new demos, and then complete little challenges with existing apps, and you basically earn credits, and then you can transfer those credits into store vouchers such as Amazon and Steam and PlayStation, Xbox, and PayPal. There's a load of stuff to exchange from, so it's a really cool service and a really cool idea, and I think you'll really enjoy it. And also you'll find my games grabber collection down there, so you'll be able to see what games I'm buying and playing and getting in the shops and sticking on my shelves, and you'll also be able to get all of my equipment that I use for videos. It's all in there. And of course, if it's your birthday today watching this video, happy freaking birthday to you, and please remember to stay beautiful.